YouTube. All right, good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Lim-Nakron here with Brooks Baptiste for our segment called In Case You Missed It.
Hey, good morning to you guys. Good morning, Joy.
Good morning.
So we've got to start with this story out of the city of Decatur, where if you've ever been victim may be a strong word, so I don't even know if I should use that word, but we've all had to deal with neighbors that could be maybe a little on the loud side, or they're up mowing the lawn at 7 in the morning on a Saturday when you want to be sleeping in. Well, supposedly the city of Decatur is hearing more from residents, and they seem to be upset about this. Well, there's a new quiet zone that could set the limits on leaf blowers or anything loud in Decatur. But this is where it gets interesting. If City Council approves this new noise ordinance, people in that area will have to keep it quiet for more than 12 hours. Not only that, it could change the time for those noise restrictions. So as first reported by our news partners, Decatur-ish, the proposed change would be from 7 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. And I know you're saying, wait, Brooks, did you mean to say it like that? No, that is correct. 7 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night, not the opposite way. So I guess you would have to get up and be loud at 6 in the morning if you don't want to complain.
Wow.
Yeah, which seems so backwards, right? Well, the Georgia State report that was done does recommend that enforcement give warning citations for the first offense, but increased punishment for continued violations.
There's always going to be some kind of noise, so it's not my top priority, but it is something that I would love to see improved upon. I think hourly restrictions is probably a good idea. I also think that incentivizing non-noisy solutions would also be another possibility.
Now, officials say they're going to hear those recommendations in a work session tonight, and that is set for 6:30 at Decatur City Hall. So, Joy, I think the big question this morning is just trying to figure out, do the hours really work for people? Because we're talking about 7 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. But I will say this, if you work remote and maybe you're at home, it probably is one of the worst things that can happen when you're in your home office or just in wherever you are in your home and you're hearing noise in the background that's caused by maybe some neighbors or whatnot.
Like you're on a important Zoom meeting,
Yeah.
and there's a loud party that people hear in the background or whatever it is. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I get it. So we'll have to see what comes of that. And again, that meeting is set for tonight at 6:30, and we'll be sure to keep you posted. Also, something that is pretty cool that you may want to learn a little bit more about this morning in case you missed it, a new way to get around outside the Atlanta airport thanks to self-driving pods. So they're called glideways. You're taking a look at them right now, and these driverless pods are going to link the airport SkyTrain with the Georgia International Convention Center in College Park about half a mile. So they drive on the side path away from the road, so they shouldn't interfere with the road in any way, but each pod can fit about 4 people, so not a lot. But the goal is to provide 24/7 rides with zero emissions, hopefully ready to launch in 2030. Because, Joy, think about all of the places you can park just outside of the College Park International Center and whatnot, and Convention Center. And there are a lot of places where you're like, all right, you got to catch a shuttle, but maybe something like this is better, and it's better for the environment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still a little nervous about self-driving,
I know.
pods, vehicles, anything like that. But it sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, so I take that you don't have the Tesla that drives itself.
No.
I don't either, and I
Definitely
think
not.
I'm okay without it.
Right, absolutely. I mean, not to mention, I don't know if I could afford it, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Another conversation.
All right, well, thank you so much, Brooks Baptiste,
All right, thanks, Joy.
joining us. Okay, I want to get to a top story that we are following, and really a somber piece of news that I have to share with you. Students at Pike County High School are starting their first day back from the Labor Day holiday, mourning one of their classmates, a star football player killed in a crash over Labor Day weekend. As Atlanta News First Asia Wilson reports, that student was loved by so many in the community.
The community is heartbroken and in mourning. Peyton Rivera was a star football player here, a kid many say had a heart of gold, a smile that would light up any room. The Pike County Sheriff's Office says Peyton was killed in a crash on Highway 109 late Friday night. According to his family, it was a head-on collision. The 17-year-old was known for his leadership on and off the field, and since his tragic accident, the community has been rallying around the grieving family. The senior was loved by so many in the community, some saying he was a lighthearted jokester. Now, his stepmom and dad are finding ways to remember him.
He is that one that you can't sit next to and when it's supposed to be a serious situation.
Kid, he had the biggest heart of any kid that I'd ever been around. He would always put others' needs in front of his.
Peyton's parents also say they are in the process of setting up a memorial fund in Peyton's name, and all the proceeds will go to the football program. Meanwhile, his funeral services will happen this Saturday at Christ Chapel Church. It's actually directly across from the school. It's set to happen at 2 p.m. In Pike County, Asia Wilson, Atlanta News First.
And now to a massive strike. The union representing thousands of AT&T workers has walked away from the bargaining table in their third week on strike. The Communication Workers of America is accusing the company of stalling. Sarah Hammond has more.
This is where negotiations have been happening between the union and AT&T over the last few weeks, as more than 17,000 AT&T workers are on strike across the Southeast. Now the Communication Workers of America union say they are withdrawing from the mediation process. The company tried to bring in a federal mediator, but the union accused them of doing that to stall. In a statement, CWA leaders say, quote, "Our message to AT&T is no more excuses. It's time to get serious about bargaining so we can get back to work." We also got this response from AT&T regarding the negotiations, saying in part, quote, "This decision was unexpected since withdrawing from mediation seems inconsistent with the union's allegation of unfair labor practices." They go on to say they're focused on reaching a fair agreement. Now, Vice President of the CWA, Richard Honeycutt, spoke to Atlanta News First as he joined the strike in its first week.
We've got some technicians that, since they've started working at AT&T, they've basically raised their children through photos, video chats, because of the time that they have to work. You know, they can't get off at any kind of normal time to go to the kids' t-ball game or dance recital, anything like that.
Until both sides reach a deal, AT&T says they are committed to providing quality service to their customers. In Chamblee, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.
You know, I'm sure many of you have driven down the road, maybe ended up with a flat tire. I know it's happened to me. Maybe it's because of a nail in your tire. Well, the Atlanta News First Surprise Squad wants you to meet an unlikely hero working to clean up our streets.
The Atlanta News First Surprise Squad is sponsored by United Community Bank and Van Sant Law Accident Attorneys.
This sculpture I call detritus, basically meaning trash.
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Sometimes there's one specific thing, like one thing out of a whole 100 pounds of metal that I pick up inspiration from.
Alex Benigno picks up all that metal as he rides his bike around town.
I just keep filling up all these bins, and then I'll, when it starts to get to be too much, I'll either take it to a scrapyard to be recycled or give it to a local artist. Well, I got the idea during COVID because I had to make deliveries for work. And I was one of the few drivers on the road, and in 2 months I got 15 flat tires.
Over the next few years, Alex perfected his picker-upper wagon.
It took me a few months to get to 50 pounds, and until I found the right configuration where within 10 days I got 50 pounds.
When he's not riding the streets, Alex works at this photo shop in Atlanta.
He was doing it before, and I saw him doing it. I was like, you have to make an Instagram, you have to show this to people. I was like, people will go crazy over it.
They did. Alex's Instagram now has more than 40,000 followers.
Even if he never started the Instagram, if he never got all the attention, he would still be doing it.
He definitely would be out there still, just as much.
Which is why the Atlanta News First Surprise Squad conspired with Alex's co-workers to cook up this surprise.
Oh, what is happening?
The real reason we're here is to say thank you, Alex, for everything that you do for your community.
Oh, wow. This is amazing. Oh my God, thank you. Wow. You guys knew about this?
Yeah, we did.
Can't thank you enough. This is wonderful.
We had to keep you occupied in there so that your coworkers could sneak out the side and be a part of the surprise.
I was wondering what was going on in there.
You inspire so many other people that you don't even know.
Like Ian Gallo, who drove over from his art studio in Lawrenceville grateful for the opportunity to pick up scraps of metal,
Oh, wow, I got your bins in the back of my truck
Okay.
as well.
but more importantly, to say thank you.
Alex shows that there is some beauty in all the rubble and all the scrap that's just left behind dirtying the streets. He shows us that even just one person can make a difference.
I'm just happy for the recognition and hope to be able to spread the message that anybody can do wonderful things for their community.
For the Atlanta News First Surprise Squad,
There's no reason not to.
I'm Gurveer Dinsa.
And more on that and all of our top stories on AtlantaNewsFirst.com, also by downloading our free mobile news app. Thanks for joining us.